All right, you are now tuned in to the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmy Lee Velez. I am here with Gabe, Goose, and special guest Algernon Hall. All right, influence. In this episode, we have special guest Algernon Hall. The crew discusses influence and the power of behavior. We talk about leadership, being charismatic, dream building, influencing the youth, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Deepak Chopra and Ken Blanchard. Guys, if you're new, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off with a definition from dictionary.com, we chose the word influence. They define it as the capacity of power of persons or things to be a compelling force on or produce effects on the actions, behavior, opinions, etc. All right, fair enough. If you guys heard, we have Big Al here with us. Sir, thank you for joining us. Super excited to have you on. I know it's been a long time coming. We've been going back and forth with communication, but finally, we locked them in. So thank you for joining us and welcome.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, brother.
Absolutely. All right, so we like to, go off of a script that, like an article that we grabbed from either Forbes or entrepreneur.com. But before we do that, can you just introduce yourself? Let us know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so first and foremost, Algernon Hall, a.k.a. the Dream Catcher. That's what they call me.
Yeah.
I'm the owner and founder of Jubilee Children's Entertainment. That's a character edutainment company with a simple mission to inspire, empower, and develop children reach their full potential. Also the founder of AlgernonHall.com. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a motivator. And I talk dream language, and we'll talk about that today.
Nice. I like it. All right, perfect. All right, so we'll listen. We'll get more about Al. But before we do, I wanted to talk about briefly this article that I grabbed from entrepreneur.com titled 7 Scientifically Proven Steps to Increase Your Influence. And everyone chime in whenever you guys want. All right, so number 1, connect with people emotionally. Now, this article is by Vanessa Van Edwards. We did have her as a guest on the Rotated Views podcast, so this is we already know this information is validated and true, right?
Absolutely.
Connect with people emotionally. Number 2, be emotionally curious. Number 3, use high-powered body language. Number 4, tell a story. Number 5, be vulnerable. Number 6, ask a favor. And number 7, be charismatic. Yes, so if you're going to be a person of influence, I do feel like you obviously have to connect with people emotionally, right? Being emotionally curious, to me, is being a compassionate person. Sure. So if you're going to influence the people around you, you have to have some level of interest in them and, have Absolutely. This level of emotional investment in them and who they are and where they're trying to get. A lot of times we get so caught up in who we are, our issues, Sure. our problems. That defines the most average person around. We live and, we walk amongst them, right? You know them right away. The second you have a conversation with them, they dump all their problems on you, right? And they start talking about all the negative stuff that's going on, whether it's the weather or, their spouse, whatever Sure. it is, it could be and everything else in between. Yeah, so I feel like if you can become emotionally curious and reach out to people, that empathy kind of
Absolutely.
resonates with people, that you're
Sure.
definitely going to influence them,
Sure.
right?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, so it says use high-powered body language. This was one thing, I took a leadership course, and they were talking about, it was hilarious. So we had to do like this acting, right? So which is the worst for people who that's not their thing.
Sure.
So they basically give you all this material. You digest it, and then the professor basically says, all right, this group over here, group 3 and 4, we need an actor from you and an actor from you. And you don't know, it's what the heck's that called? When improv.
Oh,
so you have to you don't know what kind of issue that they're going to give you, right? But one of the funniest, it just stuck out in my head, was one person's the employee and the other person's the manager, right? And the employee was supposed to be someone who had a very high concern for something that happened in a department, and the manager had to be a completely disengaged leader. It was absolutely hilarious, the person who played the manager, because she didn't even know the person's name. She's like, oh, hi, my name's Miguel. Oh, okay, Michael, what's your problem? She's like typing, right? And then she's like, my name's Miguel. But anyway, so Tara, so what happened to Tommy? She's, on her cell phone, like totally disengaged. But it was about her body language. And how, and they're just like, how well did this person or is this boss much of an influence on their own staff, their own team? And there's people that they're assigned. Imagine the people that aren't necessarily part of our team, but we also influence.
Sure.
Right? With our body language and whether that's poor or rich.
Yeah.
So body language is one of those things I don't think too many people think about, but it says a lot. One of my favorites is tell a story.
Yeah.
What I just did, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like that's what captures the mind,
The easy way to relate is through illustrations and all that stuff. So
And everybody loves a good story.
absolutely.
That's how you connect.
one of the biggest number one books sold is like The Richest Man in Babylon, right? And it's not even like a real story. They're parables, almost like the Bible, right? It's like all these to get you to understand what the true message is.
Right.
You have to break it down.
Right.
I talk about this all the time when somebody wants to talk about life things. Like, I don't understand why X, Y, and Z happens. I'm like, we're humans. How can we possibly gather or explain the things of God, right? We can get it to some little degree and make ourselves feel comfortable that we think we understand, but you're talking about something that's operating at such a high level, and we're trying to use our little brains to make sense of that. So but anyway, telling a story, I think it's we do the same thing with with our kids. We're trying to make them understand being a business owner, entrepreneur, right?
You put it on their level.
Yeah, you have to. The funny part is, us as adults, we think we're beyond that, but our favorite thing is, what did that movie have? Why did it make the movie so great? Because it had a great storyline.
Sure,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
I could follow that because it had a great storyline.
Right.
If it has a terrible storyline, or even with a book, anything. If it has a horrible storyline, I'm so not interested. I need to be entertained, right? That's like most people.
And if it's hard to digest, that's the problem. It's like if it's so, what's the word? Not convoluted, but if it has too much information that you can't wrap your head around immediately, then you lose the audience altogether.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Be vulnerable, ask a favor, and become charismatic. I guess the last one's probably the hardest. It says be the most charismatic person you know. I'm not sure that would I would have to leave that to the experts, and Vanessa Van Edwards is definitely an expert in that. But yeah, so there you have it. 7 scientifically proven steps to increase your influence. Thank you, Vanessa. That was awesome, and we have to get her back on the podcast. But today, as you all know, we have Algernon Hall, and let's get back into talks with him and what he does on a daily. So. Al, can you talk a little bit about your day job and who you are looking to serve?
Yeah, so the day job is Jubilee Children's Entertainment / Dreamcatcher. So Jubilee Children's Entertainment is the umbrella, right? So 2008, I was at my local church in Pennsauken, and I was going through this course. It was called Entrepreneurs for Christ. It was a ministry, and that was the foundational piece for me to really start to understand business from a Christian standpoint. I had really got my foundation when I went to graduate school. I attained my MBA from Dowling College.
Nice.
And but right there, when I was going through church, I started to really understand the principles. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all will be added to you. So literally, I was in my house in the family room, 5 a.m. early. And I had dabbled in all these little different entrepreneurial ventures, and some of them were successful, but I really wasn't being fulfilled. I was doing them for the wrong reasons. I was doing them because other people were doing them.
Yeah.
It was a way to get money.
Yeah.
Real estate dabbled in, and I'm a very creative person. And literally, through praying and really just focusing on what my gifts, my talents were, it came up like children's entertainment. And so I'm like, Lord, what you want me to do? You want me to, buy Barney costumes, Elmo costumes? Like, no, I want you to create your own. So literally, Jimmy, like I'm in my family room with this red notebook, and I'm just jotting down all these ideas that's flowing through my head.
Yeah.
And it was literally, within 2 nights, it was like a business plan. Create a unique character, which it came up to as a koala bear. that I was going to start and perfect. And really, where it really came from is I had always been able to manipulate my voice.
Okay.
So you hear my voice now.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my 4-year-old daughter knows how to do this.
Yeah.
So I'm talking now.
Okay.
And then I can go, hello? Yo. But when I was in high school, I can talk with a high pitch. Hi guys, it's Jubilee. So I'm talking about gifts, talents, and abilities, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know why I was able to manipulate my voice like that.
Right.
But lo and behold, who would know that when I was 37 years old, I would start this business and that would be the voice of my character.
Wow.
So all these things started coming together, and it started off in the preschool, and then I was going in and it just was me. And when I talk about the creative piece, the program is so unique where it's not just me in a costume talking. What it is, it's a pre-recorded performance. And you having kids, I'm sure you've been to Sesame Place.
Yeah.
So what you see at Sesame Place, that pre-recorded performance with the characters,
right?
That's I did this before I even had kids, so I didn't even know what the whole process was.
Wow.
But the song, I have a theme song that I sing, and it was crazy because at this particular point, people were just coming to me and they loved the concept and loved the vision because I was so passionate about it that they just wanted to help me to get it off the ground.
Yeah.
So even from the sketching of Jubilee, my man he's a web designer, Vince Abaye, masterpiecedesign.com. He sketched it and created it for free, did my website for free.
Wow.
Another dude, Derek Hanna, was a music producer, loved the concept, created a track. Anything that was going to fall apart.
Right.
So I researched it, found this costume maker, Yvette Helene, in Brooklyn, New York. She actually designed the Rugrats.
Oh!
And Lil Bill for Bill Cosby.
I love it.
Oh, wow.
So the costume cost me $8,500.
Holy smokes.
So being a young couple, married, and at the time, and and a son on the way, I felt like it's now or never.
Yeah.
I need to jump out here and I need to make it happen because this is my dream. When you have children, a lot of people, they put their dreams on the back burner.
Sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward to answer your question, since 2008, it just has grown, man, where I'm partnering with school districts with what we call character impact themes. And I sit down with administrators, sit down with the director and talk about what the needs of that school are, talk about what their goals are, and we pretty much tailor make a curriculum for them. So anything that you can think of.
Wow.
Based on character building. So being responsible, bullying, stranger danger. I even created a theme, preventing child abuse and neglect for a school in Camden.
Wow.
I'm another part of my creativity is I'm able to write. I write really well, poetry and whatnot. So I write these stories, and we pretty much mix and infuse fun safari tunes, dance with that character impact thing, but showing kids healthy ways how to deal with everyday problems.
Wow.
Nice.
So that was the first component. And then the second component with Dreamcatchers, how it came out was I'm doing these principal meetings because that was the smart way to do it, as opposed to going from school to school. I had an opportunity where I would go in every month. There's a principal meeting.
Okay.
So instead of talking to one principal, now I got 15 in one room, and I'm doing my quote unquote pitch.
Right.
And one of the administrators said, "This is a great program. What do you have for our middle school and high schools?" At the time, I didn't have anything. But I really thought about that. And then what I said, I was working with an organization in Camden, Responding, and this director, Gloria Mitchell, Dr. Mitchell. Whenever I'm talking to people, I'm always listening, and I'm always thinking about connecting. Like, how can I be a resource?
Yeah.
Or who can I connect them to?
Yeah.
And Dr. Mitchell was talking about this mentoring program that she coordinated every year, and she had 1,000 things on her plate. And I'm like, Dr. Mitchell, I have access to a plethora of entrepreneurs from similar backgrounds as Camden, because I'm from Newark, New Jersey, East Orange, Newark. And why don't you allow me to put it together for you? And she said, all right. So that year, I had brought in 7 speakers. That's when Dreamcatcher started. Wow. And it just took off like wildfire.
What was that, like a conference that you held?
So what it was a mentoring of a conference that this organization put together. And what it was a group of kids that was in this mentoring program. But what I did is I provided speakers to come in, pretty much to tell their background. So these were individuals from all walks of life, athletes, entertainers, educators, entrepreneurs. They really talk about their life, talk about their successes, but more importantly, talk about those keys, those principles of how they got out of that dysfunction, how they became successful, what were the nuggets that they can impart to those kids. And it really took off from there. So I go into a school depending on what the demographic is, and I strategically, I have a stable full of speakers. Now I pretty much do most of the speaking, and I'll tell you why later. But, based on that demographic, I bring in speakers that are from that particular demographic that I feel is a good fit. And then I come in with the DJ, I hype it up, make it real live for the kids. It's not a stuffy environment.
Yeah.
I got swag, the speakers, the DJ got swag, and we play this positive hip-hop, R&B music or whatever to really engage and connect with them. Once you get them that way, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, so I love doing that. And
let me, sorry, I didn't want to stop you.
No.
When you're engaging like the high school, so the middle school and high school students,
right.
You're saying you're using an approach where you're kind of breaking them down, kind of breaking their barrier by using this music, using this little hype intro.
Right.
How is it that you keep them engaged throughout the talks?
So here's the thing, and I had speakers on that literally they were eaten alive. See, high school is a difficult, middle school also. It's a difficult audience to connect with.
Mm-hmm.
When adults with workshops, if you go to a leadership conference, they want to be there. You paid your money, you come in to get something.
Trying to get something out of it, yeah.
But with kids, they're pretty much forced to attend this particular assembly or workshop. So really what it boils down to, like I said, it's music.
Yeah.
Number one, there's a validation piece. That's why I don't come in suited up.
Yeah.
Sometimes I show them that, but my initial connection is I'm dressing urban.
Right.
I got on some Air Max.
Yeah.
I got on this, like a dope distressed denim jacket.
Yeah.
So when they look at me, I don't look like Mr. Stepnoski.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're like, you look like Mr. Stepnoski. I'm not receiving from you.
Right.
But really it's the energy. So like, I'm sure you heard of Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher.
Of course, yes.
So a lot of people say that I have a similar style.
Okay.
So my energy is always at 120.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I connect with the songs. I dance like them. I hop around like them. I'll jump up in the front row standing in the seat. Freshman, make some noise. Ah! You know what I'm saying? Like I'm into it, like a hype man.
Yeah.
But my approach, again, what we were talking about these steps to increase your influence, I can directly relate to that because telling the story, I've learned that early on that, every time I go and I connected with a story.
Yeah.
And that first minute and a half, that's when you get them. You don't get them the first minute and a half, you're done.
Yeah.
And also, by being brutally honest, I think you said be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like, I let my darkest moments be exposed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if you're going to connect with somebody, you got to be real with them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with these kids, I'm talking to them about connecting and really discovering their gifts, their talents, and abilities, but I'm also talking about the obstacles that's in their way. And I talk about my obstacles. I talk about, growing up and my friends selling drugs and stealing cars and the dysfunction in my family and all these different things. But I talk about my own dysfunction.
Right.
But they look at where I am now and they be like, wow, if he could do it, maybe I could do it. No, you can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I really connect. But yeah, I mean, it's something that is something I take pride in because every time I come, it's a different approach. I always got a DJ. I might come in with hip hop dancers on one day because each school I go in, I might have 4 assemblies scheduled throughout the year. Some schools I go in 10 times.
Wow.
Throughout, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I've already developed that relationship. I do workshops.
So you got to switch it up too.
You got to switch it up. So I may find like a dope motivational video, and that's my foundational piece, my icebreaker. Sometimes I do a talk show format. Sometimes I come in with a guest speaker. Other times what I do is this competitive format where it's like Team Jimmy, Team Al. We come in with the DJ to get points by energy, participation, answering the questions correctly.
Nice.
So there's a dance competition, there's relays, you know what I'm saying? So there's all different types of things that I do to connect. And it feels good because when you go into the school, like it happened this past Tuesday, you the dream catcher guy, you the dream catcher. We got assembly today,
Yeah,
That's awesome. You know, and that's how you connect with them.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know, so.
Nice. So you did mention something interesting that I would like for you to at least briefly touch on.
Talk to me.
You said you had speakers that got eaten alive. So are you saying that they did exact opposite of what you're mentioning, and kind of at least give one of the best examples just for a learning
No doubt.
Nugget for us?
So here it is for those aspiring speakers, right? Everybody has a story to tell. Sure. Everybody.
Yeah.
You got a story, you got a story, you got a story. I mean, and all of our stories are different, but not everybody is gifted or is able to tell their story in front of people.
Right.
You got some people that have a fear of talking in front of crowds or talking in front of a lot of people. You got some people that are very timid. You got some people that really don't communicate well.
Yeah.
So what happens is when you're dealing with teenagers, again, you have to connect with them within that first minute and a half. And I've had speakers that when they come in, everybody want to tell their story.
Right.
But Jimmy, to be honest, I might not bring you in. It's like if you're not comfortable, like I gotta see where you at first, because it's my brand,
right.
And see how I prepare with slides or videos or how I'm thinking. How am I going to connect with these kids? The average person that's coming in to get that 250, and not that they're doing it to get the 250, they're coming in because they want to impact these kids, but they're not thinking about, okay, how am I going to engage and connect with these kids? And there have been times where speakers came in and the kids are talking while they're talking.
Right.
And I remember I was in
bro.
Newark, like it was like yesterday at Newark Vocational High School. They closed it down. And this young lady was up there and they just was talking over her. and it's hard because I've promised this administrator that I was going to engage and connect with their children, but at the same token, because I don't like when principals do this to me, because I have had times where the kids talk, and I come at them. No, I come right at them.
Yeah.
I don't. The principal like, hey, excuse me, I'm good. Like you don't need to come up here.
Right.
I'm a big boy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So some people don't know how to handle. I think of the worst. In my head, how would I respond if a kid said, man, shut the F up? Like, I'm always thinking, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
So with my personality, I know how to combat that. And you got to be able to be on your toes. It's easy to talk to adults. It's easy to talk. It's easy because, like I said, they want to be there.
Sure. Yeah.
But you really got to be gifted and you got to be skilled. And it's something that you got to work on because it wasn't, I always had my energy. But after a while, when you're going in front of the same group 4 times, 10 times, you got to be creative.
Yeah.
So as a speaker, you got to be creative. You got to mix it up, and you got to. It's almost like a team. You got to have different offenses.
Yeah.
All right, I got the run and shoot. I got my goal line offense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got my double tight ends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got my 5 wides.
Yeah.
As a speaker, you got to do the same thing.
It's kind of like and also I would imagine. Some of the engagements that I've done were smaller crowds, but it's harder when I'm assuming when their crowds get bigger and bigger, it's more to manage.
I did whole schools, 950.
Wow.
It's easy. And the principal, like, you sure? Yeah, I'm good.
Wow.
I'm good because it's a certain level of comfort that I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And if I know I'm going to the school, we got to bring it.
Yeah.
I tell my D211, we gotta bring it.
Yeah.
So he looked the part. He coming, he's spinning, playing that Lil Wayne, like, you know what I'm saying? It's all clean, you know what I'm saying? But they coming in there like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of, what's good? You know what I'm saying? It's hard how you engage. You meet them on that level. Sure. That's why you meet them with the music. That's why you meet them with hip hop dances. You meet them on that level. Or they come in and E.T. playing, or they come in and this LeBron video is a motivational video with LeBron. So while they sitting there, they're watching it. Or when they come in, if it's a Hispanic school, what happens is in Trenton is a huge Hispanic. They have a huge Hispanic population. So a lot of times when they come in, the music's rocking, but on the screen they got all these positive, successful Hispanic people that's up on the screen. So now that's putting them in that dream world right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how you connect.
Yeah, there's a a famous comedian. Obviously, I'm sure most people know him by the name of Bill Burr. But I listened to his podcast, and his podcast, he talks about being a comedian. And as you're talking, I started thinking like the stuff that he's saying, because when you're up there, you're so vulnerable, right? And as a comedian, he's basically saying all the stuff that you're saying as a motivational speaker. Kind of is the same thing, where you're going to these events and you don't know where the hacker is. He's like, you have to be able to handle any situation at any given moment. You don't know what to expect. He's like, what's the worst is you have to be able to completely dismantle your plan and then rearrange it in your head and still have it pan out to everyone else as smooth as possible.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you have to be able to do that in your head, but on the surface you have to look calm, right? So it's very pretty that I have my slides. It's very nice that I have, the DJ playing. But what happens if that kid does stand up and just have it? Yeah, and you're standing there like the record stops, like everything stops. Everyone looks up, and then then you could lose the crowd that way too. Everyone's like, oh, and then that's the end of it. But if you know how to manage that, and he's talking about, man, now Bill Burr's known for annihilating the hecklers, where he destroys them. He asks them not to leave. Like, so security guards, kind of how you're saying, you're like, the principal will go, oh, excuse me. The security guards will like walk up. And he said, no, let them go. I want them. And there's bits where he's destroying them to the point where they just sit down. They don't know what to do with themselves. But he handles it. And then in an instant, he's like, where was I? Oh yeah, anyway, blah, blah, and just plays the heck out of them because he made him seem like their little hiccup that's all it was. Right. Like they try to make this crazy interference, but it was just a hiccup, and he kept it moving. Yeah, man, that stuff's not easy. It's definitely not easy, especially when you see faces. When you're looking out in the crowd and you're talking, and you're seeing faces, and you see that one, you can see all these engaged faces. You see that one little disengaged face. You're like, oh man, how it kind of messes with you. Like, you can't let that get to you, where you're like, how can I get this person engaged in the middle of...
Yeah, and what I've learned, because I was really hard on myself with that, you're not going to connect with everybody. And you have to be able to understand that, and you have to... Are there times where there's dead silence? It is. And I've even found that one person that jumps out, like I stopped going at that person. I'll talk, and I'm just looking over here, but I'm really talking to you because I don't want to embarrass you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if I embarrass you, then you're going to shut down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then maybe the reason why you're talking is you're probably the one that really needs to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
So, but that took some time for me to really understand that.
So you talked a little bit about how Jubilee Kids got started.
Jubilee Children's Entertainment.
Jubilee Children's Entertainment. Can you talk about the reception when kids see this character?
Yo, Jubilee's a rock star.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, literally, like, as God is my witness, I'm doing this dream board workshop in Trenton. The young girl comes in, 7th grader. You the guy, Jubilee. I remember Jubilee when she was in the 2nd grade.
Wow.
So here she is in the 7th grade, and I love Jubilee. Jubilee. She's singing a song. She's in the 7th grade, and she still remembers that.
Wow.
So kids are excited because not only is Jubilee a character, but what makes him unique is Jubilee is actually interactive. He talks.
Right.
He dances. He does the nay-nay. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He got swag. You know what I'm saying? He that dude. You know what I'm saying? So the kids love him. The teachers love him. I mean, it's truly a sight to behold. Like, typically, a lot of times when I sit back and I show up at an assembly, like when the team goes out and they do it, I sit back and I look at it on video, man, and I'm amazed. Like even on my website, to see 300 and 400 kids, everybody's hands following Jubilee in sync.
Right.
Like it's synchronized swimming or something.
Right.
They just together.
Right.
It's a sight to behold. That connection, that influence. You literally see it taking place.
Wow.
In that particular moment, you have their ear, and that's why it's so critical when you talk about character education. And then let's just talk about if I can just kind of connect with that, what it's like.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that in my presentation that I show is a video on YouTube called Children See and Do. And when you have a child's attention, like Les Brown is one of the people that I admire. And he always says that our imaginations are shaped off of what we see, what we hear, and what we experience. And when I started this character education programming, our children, they get so much negative influence on a daily basis.
Sure.
Right outside of the home, what they see on TV, what they hear on the radio, things that we try to prevent them from hearing, seeing, experiencing. And so I just wanted to start a program to kind of help to offset that. Educators are doing such a great job, and they have a hard job with trying to combat what they see on the street, particularly in the inner city.
Yeah.
My today and my tomorrow, I'm talking about my significant other right now.
Yeah.
She's a vice principal, and to hear what goes on in Newark at the school, some of the things, like, yo, it's bad, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Compared to, like, I'm 45.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You look
Yeah.
like you about 27 out there. young
Thank
boy,
you. I
young
appreciate
boy.
it.
But it's not like it was when we was in school, fellas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So now that responsibility, that task is even heightened.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at that particular moment, what it's like is it's blissful. It feels good to be wanted by these children, but it's also a critical opportunity to connect with them.
Yeah.
Like, how can we show them healthy ways? I remember being at Woodrow Wilson when I first got into Trenton, and Trenton is one of our larger accounts. We're in a lot of schools in Trenton School District. And I remember waiting to see the principal. 2 kids got brought in. Little boy was crying. The girl punched the little boy in the face because the little boy was calling her fat. No, so not knowing how to deal with that was something that she saw or what she heard and what she experienced. She got that from someplace.
Right.
This is how I respond when somebody tries to hurt me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, she's probably I think the 3rd grade.
Wow.
But how do we reverse that?
Yeah.
So that's what the charge is with the character, with these character impact themes. How do we show them healthy ways how to deal with everyday problems? Because every day our kids are going to encounter conflict, some type of conflict.
Sure.
Yeah.
Every day somebody's going to tell my son that, try to make my son feel less than, or say you're dumb or you're stupid or you can't play with us.
Yeah.
So how do they handle? Like, how do we show them how to handle those things in the right way?
Right.
Because we all contribute to this thing we call life, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all contribute to it. I was looking at the news, and I rarely look at the news. There was 4 individuals, 2 males and 2 females, that were killed execution style. People's imaginations are shaped off of what we see, what we hear, and what we experience. We all contribute to this life. So what contributed to those individuals responsible for murdering these 4 people? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Right.
And we don't think about it and so I want to connect with the children, because that's the seed stage.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the, like they say, we're reading. I got a 4-year-old. They say the most critical time for the learning development for a kid is from 2 to 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
So even with kids, like when they get to middle school, you pretty much kind of know where they going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And some of these kids, you see them with Gucci belts and everything like that, and how they walking, what they talking. You hear how they talking in the hallway with the profanity and everything. We're like, yo, you don't see me here, yo.
Yeah,
That's how I stepped to,
right.
like, yo, you don't see me talking,
Right.
Like, you don't see me here,
Right.
So yeah, man. So as you can see, it's something I'm passionate about, man.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
So when you do capture, the attention of maybe someone who's had this, past that's, less fortunate, let's just say, right? What is the end goal during the assembly for you, right? So when you leave there, who do you want to leave with?
So let me give you what I expect, and let me give you the honest truth. So what I expect is that they say if you connect to one, you've done your job.
Sure.
I know in my heart I'm connecting to more than one.
Yeah.
What I would like is for when these kids to leave out that auditorium, out of the gym, for them to hear my voice echoing, saying certain things.
Yeah.
my dream has power. My dream has a voice. My dream is alive. Whatever it is that I'm saying. But the reality is, once they leave that gym, they forget. It goes back to the real life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whatever dysfunction that they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I try to implement in schools is follow-up, because 4 times it's not enough. 10 times not enough.
Right.
So, because again, they're getting dysfunction in repetition.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you don't, especially in Trenton, every year I come back, there's an 8th grader that came through my workshop or came through my assemblies that I found out at the 9th grade academy or at the next level that they were murdered.
Right.
That they were in the gang and something happened, But that's just life. Like I tell the kids, look, statistics show that y'all gonna be, I say I'm gonna be brutally honest, transparent. They saying that y'all gonna end up in jail, in the graveyard, or on drugs.
Yeah.
Y'all got a choice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Y'all got a choice.
Yeah.
Y'all got, how many of y'all got friends in your neighborhood that that they got murdered? You see hands go up. You know what I'm saying? So,
wow.
And so that's the reality, you know what I'm saying, in terms of, so I try to connect with them, real, keep it 100 with them, and just try to connect with them.
So that ongoing process, you may not see these kids from 2nd grade all the way up through high school at this point, now that with the different programs that you have implemented. Is there something that keeps you motivated? Is that what keeps you motivated, kind of seeing the growth? I know you just gave a couple stories where, it didn't, end very well, but maybe changing those, the handful of kids who are like, my goodness, I seen this person was not in a good spot in life, and when they left through my program, I heard great things later on. Is that something that, motivates you, or is there something else, that's your motivation, that's your fuel?
First and foremost, it's my kids, my son and my daughter, and I know that everything, that gift, that talent, that ability that God has placed in me, I feel the urgency to be responsible with it.
Yeah, nice.
That's my biggest fear. I just got a text today that a guy that we knew that was 45, 46, had a heart attack, died. I don't want that to be me, and everything this Jubilee. I haven't done what I was supposed to do with it.
Yeah,
this is just the beginning.
Right.
We get off track.
Yeah.
So my drive is to get it out. My drive, there's times where I'm in the car and I'm listening to motivational content and I'm on a turnpike and I'm literally in tears because I could taste this dream thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want it that bad.
Right.
Not for fame, not for money. It's because I know that I'm capable.
Yeah.
I know that it's in me.
Yeah.
And that's what drives me. So when I'm with these kids, I get emotional often when I talk about this kid that was insecure, this kid that grew up in a household where there was dysfunction, and this kid that had friends that sold drugs and stole cars, and I'm worrying about, the only thing keeping me out of trouble was playing football and stuff like that, that I'm going into school districts and they are giving me contracts that's something that I created.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yo!
That is crazy.
I'm getting checks.
Yeah.
Yo, and I used to be embarrassed because I was getting into this costume at first.
Yeah.
But that's my gift.
Right.
So that's what drives me.
Yeah.
That's what drives me. And I get off track sometimes.
Yeah.
Life is rough. Life is hard. Things come up and you get off track, but you get back on that bike and you just keep pedaling. You fall off, but you get back on the bike.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Perfect. All right, so let's switch things up a little bit. Can you talk about the Dream Blog /podcast?
Yeah, man. So, I went through a dark time. I went through a divorce.
Yeah.
And in my healing process, in my dark place, I'm just praying and all these things coming to me. So, I enjoy empowering and inspiring kids, but I want to empower all walks of life.
Yeah.
So I decided to launch AlgernonHall.com. And I have a YouTube channel, Dream Catchers Algernon Hall on YouTube, where I got motivational videos where I show up. I pop up in Philly. I'm down on the football field at my old college in Alabama. I'm all, and I'm just doing all these different messages.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because this dream thing is real, like there's people that have given up on those dreams. There's people that feel like I'm too old. There's people that feel like they don't have what it takes. And my message to them is like to inspire them, like you can do anything that you want to do.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So right now, like that's what AlgernonHall.com is about, because this Jubilee thing, I didn't know that it was going to develop to me doing dream catchers in middle schools. I didn't know that it was going to lead to me doing professional development workshops for teachers. I didn't know that it was going to lead to me doing workshops, showing people how to build vision boards, what I call dream boards and action boards, where I can get in front of adults, because we can come across so many people. You could sit every day, you could bump into plenty of people that speak this dream language, that got something that they put on the shelf, something that they want to do, something that they say, you know what, I had my kids and this happened, or this happened in my life and I don't have enough time or whatever. And we speak that dream language. So my dream, my desire, my passion is to ignite that in everybody, children, young and old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So on your website, you say, my energy is infectious, and you are sure to walk away inspired, empowered, and ready to
you feel
live
this?
life.
I got you engaged, right?
Yeah,
I'm
for
telling
sure.
you a story.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about. Like, have you empowered? Because when I talk about this dream, like when I came in, you heard how it sounded, but right now it's different. I'm sitting up.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like I feel like I'm connecting, like I'm in my lane.
Yeah.
So I'll get you charged up.
Yeah.
I'll get you to understand and to think about, walk away with like, yo, like what he was saying is, and I'm not just, I know this because I lived it.
Sure.
I'm living it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm living it.
Yeah. So you mentioned multiple times, and I absolutely, this is one of my favorite topics, one of our favorite topics. We talk about dream building all the time. We talk about dream boards. We have the applications. We have the actual boards. We have all this stuff. Can you talk to us about, when you speak about dream language, can you explain that for most that do not understand? But you say people talking a dream language on a regular basis. Maybe some people are not aware that they're talking in a dream language.
I made that up. I made it up because it sounded cool, but it really is. What dream language is it was our first conversation when we got on the phone, Jimmy. We started talking about our passions, our dreams, projects that we're working on, things that's going to change, our the generational, generations in our family. Like, we're passionate about that.
Yeah.
We're talking about, I can do this. We're talking about, I'm working on this. We're talking about, I'm going to class for this. I'm developing. I'm going, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about personal development.
Yeah.
We're talking about going to the next level.
Right.
That's dream language.
Yeah.
You got some people that don't understand dream language, and those people are the ones that I said, it's too late. I'm too old. Why are you going to do that? You're not going to get hired. It's never been done. Nah, I will. I can, I must.
Yeah.
That's dream language.
Yeah.
That's dream language. I'm not content with where I am. As human beings, we need to understand that we are designed to grow.
Right.
To grow. If you're not growing, what happens?
Right.
You die.
Right.
It's like with a muscle. If you don't work the muscle in some capacity, that's when you see people and they go paralyzed. What happens with their legs? You see that it lose the muscularity and stuff like that.
Right.
That's how we are as humans.
Right.
In our minds and in our spirits. So we constantly have to be growing. So that dream language is when you sit down with somebody and you excited.
Yeah.
You're talking about entrepreneurship. You're talking about ideas. You're talking about visions. You're talking about dreams.
Yeah.
And you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
You're talking about, you know what? I'm gonna start the blog. I'm gonna start the podcast.
Right.
You're talking about, I'm doing this T-shirt line. You're talking about, yo, I'm gonna shake up the world.
Right.
That's dream language.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
man.
it was intense.
Yeah.
You had me hyped up. And it was like, yo, but when you get around people that speak that dream language, you feel like you could run through a wall.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
it's a power.
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's powerful. That's that positive energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a power. We our conversation started kind of like the show right now. We kind of started off just kind of like, it was like the warm ups. You start warming up, and then it has like that that LeBron or Steph Curry effect when once they get heated, there's no stopping it. You ever watch a basketball game? I think one of the best examples is like a Steph Curry when they're shooting threes and they're draining, and or even Klay Thompson when he has the most threes and whatever. It's like I get the chills. Like when someone's on fire, don't stop them. Keep feeding them, right? Yeah. It's kind of like the same thing where we were getting so hyped up off of each other.
I didn't want to get off the phone.
No, we didn't want to get off the phone. We both ended up walking into work like, dude, I gotta go.
We had to get on with our day. But that's the energy that we need.
Well, at least you start the day off right at that point.
Yeah. Oh, I was driving home from the shore. Literally, that's an hour and a half, and we were on the phone.
Yeah.
Like 6 a.m. on the phone on like a Thursday, bro. Like we were dead serious. This was like the real deal. This wasn't no like made up conversation. This was like you got to get up, early bird, catch the worm first kind of thing.
Didn't even know him, but just because he spoke that dream language, the connection was made. And it's hard. Dream language is also important because it's hard to speak it to yourself.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
it's hard to stay motivated.
Yeah. It's funny because when, we always talk about having your car being like, if you have to drive anywhere, your car being like, the university on wheels, they call it. Yeah. To what are you listening to? It's those little increments, those little tiny, I guess, chances in life that you're given is like, am I going to listen to junk right now? I could put on the news. Right. I could put on a radio station. No offense, but it's true. Yeah, right. Or I can put on, the aux cord and put, a YouTube, motivational talk or something like that, or pop in a CD, whatever. It's those little tiny decisions where we all have bad days, right? Sure. And we're in control of, am I going to allow my own thoughts to eat myself alive, or am I going to turn those thoughts and talk myself back into it? But you're right. Sometimes you're kind of just so alone in these thoughts. You're like, man, I need to talk to somebody else who understands. And when that understands means is the dream language. Yeah. I'm like, he gets it, right? Yeah. And he's thinking, man, he gets it. Mm-hmm. So when we're talking, I'm like, man, we had a long week. Right. And we're leading up into this conversation. And all of a sudden, it was like you're injected with power. Yeah. You felt like when you're talking, you feel like a superhero. Yeah. You legit start beyond. You're like, forget what my goals were. Now I'm going to, 10X them. Whatever we just had on deck is now getting 10X. It's just like this wild. This dude started talking about it. I started rolling up my sleeves. Literally, it gets like, there's just like wild. Yeah. There's just wild energy that it can't. We're trying to explain it. It really can't be explained, and if it can be, it's very limited. It's one of those things you have to experience more than explain. Yeah. Because you feel it. Yeah. Something that words can't.
But that kind of feeds into like the last step was be the most charismatic person. Like that's gravitational energy that you kind of just feed. Yes. Everybody feeds off of.
Right.
Yeah. That just like you just get, like you said, everybody's just getting hype off of it.
Right.
And there's a process, the road to success, whatever you define success as. But there's that process, and part of that process is you're going to get lumped up. If, depending on how strong these goals or these dreams are, you're going to either lump up and fold, or lump up, and go back to the corner and let your coach talk to you like, all right, you got to do this. You got to switch some things up. Let's put some more Vaseline on your chin, whatever. Right. And then you go back in there, you start fighting again. It's one of those things. It's that little pep talk in the corner. Like, yo, you said you wanted to be the champ, right? Mm-hmm. You said you're going after, this weight class. You said you're going after all these things. And this dude lumped your eye up. Yeah, you probably can't see out of one eye. You still got the other eye. Let's go. And you have to get back in there. And it's those little things, that dream language right there in that corner. And when you get back into the ring to fight again, you have so much more energy. It doesn't matter, bro. This could have been the 12th round. You completely spent, totally exhausted. Somebody says one thing, and I'm not talking about the crowd yelling, because the crowd's always yelling. That's what life is. Right. There's always somebody talking smack in the background, right? The boxing analogy is perfect for this. But then when you go back in that ring, it's just you and the opponent. That opponent could literally be you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, 95% of the time, it really is you. But there might be that other person that you just need to be. You need to start giving away the lumps. Now you need to start lumping that other person, your opponent, whoever that is. I have a track, titled "Try Harder," and in the track I say, "Look in the mirror." That's who your opponent is. And of course, that's been uttered so many times, but the way I say it is like, yo, there was a level of intensity that just laid out. Me and him had a conversation, and the track's literally called "Try Harder," and it's the third track that I want to come out with this video. And the purpose of me saying this is we both started laughing because we haven't heard, this whole project had been recorded, but we wanted to make sure it was just right. So I hadn't heard the track in like 2-3 months. Yeah. I'm hearing the track and I'm like, it was like a jolt of energy. And I get on the phone with him, like, yo, what do you think? He's like, I don't know, but I need to try harder. I'm so amped up right now. But it's true. Sometimes we kind of forget. We get lost in the sauce. Yeah. We're just getting in every day. We're so busy, that we kind of forget. And it's those little, that dream talk. Like, yeah, no. You got to, it kind of realigns you. Kind of get, what we were saying, this is my lane. Sometimes we get off, off track. Yeah.
And with you by yourself, you get immune to like even like that motivation type stuff, and that you need somebody else to talk to just to kind of get you back on track, like you were saying.
We listen to motivation speakers all the time. Man, I get tired of some of these guys after a while, and it's true. And it has nothing to do with them. It has with me. I'm like, it was my fault that I listened to them 50 times in a row, right? Maybe I should have switched them up. So then I go through phases. I mean, I'm listening to, T.D. Jakes, or then I go to a Joe Osteen, and then I go to E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, then I go to Billy Alsbrooks, then I go to like just all these random people. Of course, I have the greats on the list, but you go from, Jim Rome to Les Brown, and you're like, oh, yeah. They're, at the end of the day, we talk about this all the time. There's only so much to say, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's how they say it. It's how they say it, and the perspective and the spin that they're giving what they're saying. Mm-hmm. That's what makes the most interesting motivational speakers. Right. If you can engage somebody in a different way, because like you said, we all have stories. Right. So I could be saying, "Get up! You got to get up! Life knocks you down 7 times. Get up 8." Right. But my story of getting up 8th and how I got up the 8th time totally changes that little analogy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we definitely have to switch it up, and stay encouraged and talk that talk. Right. There's a when we first started the podcast, we always talked about they love when I get in the zone kind of thing, because when you get in the zone, everyone feels it. Mm-hmm. Everyone around you knows, all right, he's losing it now. Right. And you just keep going. Right. Everyone wants that feeling. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants that feeling. All right, so last thing, just really quick. You mentioned your 2 kids. Most of us here are dads, and we always have this work-life balance. So I like to ask my guests, if they are parents, any advice or any how-tos or whatever you want to give us. How do you manage work-life balance?
Well, somebody told me a long time ago. I asked him. He has so many different hats. He said, be present where you are. Mm-hmm. So it was really bad a few years ago where I'm with my kids and I pick them up, or they're with me and I'm on my phone on email, or I'm sending text messages. Mm-hmm. And so, I used to say that, I'm a really good multitasker.
Yeah.
I really am not.
Right.
Because the thing about it is you're scratching a couple of things, but you're not doing one thing well. Yeah. So he said to be present where you are. So that means that when I'm with my kids, do your best. Put the phone down. Mm-hmm. Try to send the emails before. If you're working on work, try not to, like I got a bad habit because I'm in the car a lot. Yeah. Like I got a bad habit with, ESPN is, and I'm like looking at YouTube. Right. I said it. I'm not actually looking while I'm driving, but I got my earpiece on. I got the Bluetooth going, and I'm watching SportsCenter. I'm watching, Shannon Sharp. You know what I'm saying? Right. Be present where you are. If you're praying, you're praying. Give God your undivided attention. If you're with your spouse, give her or him your undivided attention. Mm-hmm. So just be present with where you are. And I found that I've become a better father. I've been more efficient in business, more effective in my personal life and with that work life. And, you get more done that way. Yeah. So I think be present where you are.
Perfect. Cool. All right. So there you have it, folks. All right, Al, if people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Man, listen, get at me. Please visit me at algernonhall.com. There is daily motivational quotes, my own quotes. I don't post other people's quotes. I used to. Yeah, AlgernonHall.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at it is at what is it at Algernon_Hall. Yeah, you can get me at that. You can also, if you have educational needs and you're an educator or you want this character education programming in your school district, you can go to info@JubileeKidsWithAZ.com. That's JUBILEE kids KIDZ.com. And also, if you have any need for some workshops or professional development at your school, your organization, or your corporation, you can get me at info@AlgernonHall.com.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here.
Man.
Absolutely. So we're going to close things up as we usually do with quotes. And the first one's by Ken Blanchard. The key to successful leadership today is influence, not authority. And the second one by Deepak Chopra. Our minds influence the key activity of the brain, which then influences everything. Perception, cognition, thoughts, and feelings, personal relationships, they're all a projection of you. All right, so there you have it, folks. Influence. In this episode, we had special guest Algernon Hall. The crew discusses influence and the power of behavior. We talk about leadership, being charismatic, dream building, influencing the youth, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes by Deepak Chopra and Ken Blanchard. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyLeeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyLeeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.